Hello.
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 And welcome to the Twyford Health Club.
Twyford Health Club.
Twyford Health Club Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the February edition of the Twyford Health Club Podcast. Coming up, do you feel a bit flat when you pump iron? George has got some tips on how to make the most of your time with the weights.
It's really, really important that your nutrition stays up. It doesn't matter, you can do all the weights you want, but if you're eating loads and you're putting on a load of fat, you're really going to struggle to see any difference in that.
Barry's tale from the locker room returns, and this time it's an everyday story of heroism.
Now, this young gym member saw the thief run out the door carrying bottles of spirits, and this is when all his training came into action.
But first, a warning. Everyone knows that we are entering difficult times. This is the moment when we struggle, when we question ourselves, when we wonder if we can keep going when the future is so unclear. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's February, the time when people all over Twyford, all over Berkshire, all over the world become just another statistic. They become the people who don't keep their Get Fit in the New Year resolution. Now, of course, this is no crime. The allure of a box set and a cake is the strongest temptation known to humanity. But the team here at the Twyford Health Club Podcast will not accept this. They want to help you stay motivated. You're about to hear from the gym's personal trainers, Lewis, George and Jody. But first, here's Barry.
So what I've noticed personally in gyms after all these years is in February, many people stop coming to the gym. And the ones that keep coming are the ones who go to the classes. Mostly. Not all of them, but mostly. You find that the retention rate when you put classes on is double that of people who just use the gym on their own, which comes back to that same reason why people stay, and it's because they found people to train with. So here at the club, we actually do very well with that. We've got twice the national average retention. But if we get people in classes, they stay for a very long time because they see the benefits, they get motivated by the instructor and the people around them. So if you're struggling with training or you're losing motivation, try a different class. Try something new. We've doubled the classes we do on Saturday morning, and we've put another 5 on during the rest of the week because we know in January that we'll be flooded with people, and we're hoping that they keep coming because once they're in those classes, we'll keep the classes on for February as well. To sum up, stay motivated by doing a class or trying a new class.
My advice for staying motivated in February and throughout the rest of the year is to remember the reason why you started and making sure that it's an emotional reason, not just a on-the-surface goal. So if you want to lose weight, why do you want to lose weight? If you want to get fit, why do you want to get fit? What's the deeper reason behind it? Another great way to stay motivated in February and throughout the rest of the year is to maybe find a friend or a family member who's willing to get fit with you. It makes experience a lot easier and you have someone to be accountable to. One of the main things we can do when it comes to us working out, trying to get fit, losing weight, is to make sure that whatever we do, we remain consistent in the task. So if we're training, stay consistent 2 to 3 times a week, every week. If you're looking to lose weight, you need to decrease your calories, so stay consistent on the calorie deficit. You may be familiar with Thomas Edison and his invention of the light bulb, and the famous quote that goes, "There is no such thing as failure, just data." Thomas Edison once said, "I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Our fitness, training, nutrition choices can be a lot like this. We'll come across things that won't necessarily work fully for us. This is not failure. It's just information that you can use to learn, to move forward, and to continue progressing. You found something that doesn't work for you, that's fine. Again, it's just information. Don't stop looking for the next step to take, because eventually you'll find the thing that keeps you consistent and keeps you motivated.
So, best tips I would say really for keeping yourself motivated is I always like to keep in mind obviously that I've got a target I'm going for. I've got be that a race, a certain distance, a certain weight I want to do, and I just try and familiarize myself as much as I can with it. So if it's something, for instance, I'm trying to drop a certain amount of weight, I'm just trying to get to it's purely an aesthetic thing. I'm trying to drop some weight. I'll make sure, I'm reading lots of muscle magazines and stuff, lots of fitness magazines, and it almost reminds myself that, I'm reading about it, I'm indulging in it, and it kind of reminds myself that, I do have to keep pushing if I want to get to these levels, like, a lot of the guys you get in these magazines. Again, it's finding that realistic target, if I open up my Flex and start reading, about Arnold Schwarzenegger, realistically, no one's getting to that level anytime soon. It's all about finding that goal and seeing how these guys are and trying to think if this is what these guys are and that, they're dedicating their lives to that, then how can I be with the time I have? Which again, it's that extra push just to keep me going. In the same way, for a lot of people, it's a race. Again, if you've got the half marathon coming up, again, reading your magazines, reading about, a lot of marathon runners like Mo Farah again. Just again, to keep you motivated, keep in mind that, you've got these guys who push these out unbelievable numbers. So you want to push yourself and see what you can get.
If you are starting to lack in motivation, come down to the gym. We're really friendly. We want you to succeed. If you tell us that you've got an event coming up, we are more than happy to keep pushing you. If you're telling us that you're feeling like you want to give up, we give you new ideas. We will push you and we will motivate you. We are here literally for that, to help all the time. Do not feel like you can't come and ask us. We are more than happy. We want to do this. This is what we do for a living. We're there for your help.
So when February does come knocking, teasing you with a Mr. Kipling Bakewell tart and season 1 to 5 of Game of Thrones, just remember those words. Now cast your mind back to last month's Twyford Health Club podcast. George had tips on weight training for runners. Before that, in our very first edition, he had advice on weight training for women. This month, it's the men's turn.
The best tip I can probably give in terms of weight training for guys is one I read a while ago. It was actually I heard from a bodybuilder, a very famous bodybuilder called Kai Green, who mentioned that every time you're working out, your muscle is going to have a stretch and a contraction. So in the sense of, if for instance it's your chest you're working out, your contraction is you're squeezing your chest, you're pushing your arms forward and you're squeezing the muscle. Your stretch is when those arms are coming all the way back and it's all stretching out across your chest. Every time you're doing a chest movement, you should be striving to try and achieve that, a stretch and a contraction. Especially in bicep training. I've talked to a lot of guys who've struggled with bicep training because form goes and there's a lot of other issues. In exactly the same way, when you're doing a bicep curl, when you're lowering that weight down, you're stretching out the bicep in the moment. You're getting a full stretch, you want to come all the way to that arm straight. And when you're coming back up, you're bringing that dumbbell all the way up and you're squeezing, you're contracting that muscle. Like as if you were trying to tense your muscle, imagine you're trying to get your palm as close to your shoulder as you can and you're squeezing and contracting that muscle. I guarantee you, if next time you go for your workout, just focus on that, just getting a real long stretch, real hard squeeze, maybe even pausing for a second at the top, and you're really going to feel that in your bicep and you're really going to feel it working. And again, it's because every time you're working out, your muscle's going to stretch and it's going to contract. So you may as well keep pushing and trying to make sure you're going to get that on every single movement. As much as guys don't want to hear it, you do need to train your lower body just as hard as you're going to train your upper body. A lot of guys will come in and they'll say, I'm coming in, I want to do some weights, I want to work on my upper body, but I run as well, so I don't really need to do any legs. Or I cycle, so I don't need to do any legs. But you don't come into the gym, you don't do cardio for your upper body and it makes you muscly. It just doesn't work that way. If you want to go in and you're coming in, you're hitting weights, you're doing 10, 12 rep sets, you're pushing about a minute of hard exercise, 60-second break. You're not doing that on your legs running. You're not pushing themselves till you can't physically do any more, hitting failure, and then resting for a minute while you're running. Again, cycling, you might have intervals, so a hard 60 seconds and easier 60 seconds, but when you're lifting those weights, you physically cannot lift that weight at the end. When you're cycling, you don't get to a point after a minute where you physically cannot move that pedal again. And it's going to help all round as well. It's very good for your functional fitness, obviously, to get good, strong legs. But as much as people don't want to hear it, really you do need to push your legs on weight training. If you don't hit any weights for your leg training as well, one, obviously you have the typical chicken leg syndrome. So you're going to have small legs, big upper body, just looks a bit strange. Especially if you're for a functional sense, you're going to be very top heavy. You're going to have all this muscle up top, nothing down at the bottom. It's going to throw off your balance as well. It's something you really need to take into account. And again, with your leg training, make sure it's functional as well. So you're not just doing a little leg extension. You're doing things like squats, your deadlift, something that's going to involve a lot more muscles as well. One of the main things as well is you get a lot of guys who come in, they'll really push themselves, they'll push themselves all the way up to 5 day a week training programs. But then they'll go home and they won't eat very well, and their nutrition is poor. It's really, really important that your nutrition stays up. It doesn't matter, you can do all the weights you want, but if you're eating loads and you're putting on a load of fat, you're really going to struggle to see any difference in that, because you've got this high level of fat as well, and you're not eating the optimal things to build your muscle. So main things really in terms of your nutrition, I'd say, is best thing you can do is as soon as you finish a weight training workout, get some protein in you straight away, as soon as you can. And again, your body responds very well to taking in nutrients straight after a workout. So what I personally try and do every time I finish a workout, a protein shake is a great one to try and have, so you can stick that in your bag, you can have that as soon as you finish. And for a lot of people that's not possible, but in the same way, you finish your workout, you head home, make sure you're getting a meal in nice and quick, getting a good bit of protein down you, and it is going to do you a lot of good.
Of course, George and all the other personal trainers at the gym are available for just that, personal training, so don't hesitate to get in touch with them to find out more. Finally then, it's time to return to Barry's Tales from the Locker Room. In previous months, we've had episodes of illicit salsa dancing and fake Italian lovers, but this story is one of straightforward heroism.
So this is a true story based on one of our gym members who actually worked in the gym for a while before we moved away. Now, this gym member had always been good at running, good at weightlifting, but he'd never really been in competitive sport, so he'd never really got to try out his skills. Until one day when he was working in a supermarket, which we can't name for legal reasons, a thief came in and stole loads of spirits. Now, this young gym member saw the thief run out the door carrying bottles of spirits, and this is when all his training came into action. He sprinted after the thief. The thief was running, throwing beer cans at him, bottles of wine, and he was dodging them with his lightning fast reactions until he actually caught the thief. This is a true story. Held him on the ground with his massive arms from weight training in Twyford Health Club and pinned him there until the police came and the guy was arrested and thrown into jail, never to terrorise Twyford again.
And if the thief in that story is listening to this in prison, then thank you so much for downloading, and it's a big hello from all of us at the Twyford Health Club Podcast. In our next edition, amongst other things, there'll be advice for those who have entered a cycling event for the first time, but also a special section for those running the Reading Half Marathon, what you should be doing the week of the race, an insight into race day itself, what to eat, what to do, and how to attack the course. Finally, remember to share this podcast with your friends and subscribe on iTunes or SoundCloud. In the meantime, it's goodbye.